Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NSP Wrestling and Gaming Podcast. I am your host, the Director of Chaos, Nikolas Canfield, and today's a very special guest, Shawn Hernandez, Mr. Texas, Hot Stuff Hernandez,
What's
one
going
half
on?
LAX.
What's going on, brother?
So, your time in TNA, very memorable and a part of one of the hottest tag teams, I think, of TNA history, LAX. How did that come about?
Accident. Konnan had a group. The original LAX was Konnan, Apollo, and Homicide. And whatever with the issues with Apollo had some issues and he was let go. And they called me. I was wrestling in Mexico at the time. They called me, hey, come do this role in LAX in TNA. I go, nah, I don't like how you did me last time. So they got this other guy, Ricky Vega, who was a local in Florida, to do it. For a couple months and wasn't working. So they called me again and said, hey, just try it. Just like crack. Just try it one time. Just come one time and see if you like it. And I came out there and everything clicked. I didn't have a name, nothing. I mean, they just put LAX Homicide by himself.
You were fresh, like fresh.
Yes, sir.
So the start of your wrestling career, right? Tugboat Taylor
Yes, sir.
at the Texas Wrestling Academy. What got you involved with wrestling in the first place?
Man, I always wanted to do it when I was a kid, but my parents made me go to college and stuff like that. And I went to college playing college football. I played 2 years of arena football. That wasn't working out. Man, I was lifting weights and, powerlifting, and that was just winning trophies. That's not winning no money.
Yeah.
A funny story, Dutch Mantel and JBL came to the gym while I was working at, and Dutch Mantel goes, hey, you look like one of those Steiner brothers. I go, sir, I'm broke as hell. Can you please help me get into wrestling? He gave me Tugboat's number, and that's how I got started.
Do you remember your first couple months training
Yes.
in wrestling? What was that feeling like?
It sucked, but for myself, trying to be an athlete, at that time, it was my last chance for romance. I had to gut it out no matter what. No matter how bad the training sucked, no matter what drills you didn't get, I stuck it out because I knew that was the end of my athletic career if I quit wrestling.
So growing up, who were some of the wrestlers that you looked up to?
And my father was in the Green Beret for 30 years, so every 2 or 3 years we moved to different places. So I got to watch Georgia Championship Wrestling. You know what I'm saying? I got to watch AWA, and I got to, of course, we moved to Texas, the Von Erichs, and then, Houston Wrestling was awesome. So I got to experience and watch all the greats. And I mean, from Mr. Wrestling #2 to, you know, Baron Benrosky to the Von Erichs to seeing the Guerreros, Dr. Death, Steve Williams. I mean, you name it. I was very, very blessed to see all of those.
They say, like, when people talk about the Von Erichs, what was like what was the fan base towards them back in their day? Because a lot of people say they were almost intouchable or
Yes,
untouchable.
unbelievable. I mean, you either liked them or you didn't like them. Majority of everyone obviously liked them, no matter how bad, you hear the stories in the movie and stuff like that, but they were larger than life. All the wrestlers back in the territorial days were larger than life in that territory. You know, it's like, I don't know, like Michael Jackson coming down, going to the grocery store, everyone's gonna flock to them. It was a different time because now with social media and camera phones, it's not the same. Like when you see like old videos of like say Michael Jackson's go to land in the airport and there's like 10,000 people waiting for them. That's what well, you see the Von Erichs, they're running Cowboy Stadium for wrestling. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
that had to be, I don't know, that had to be surreal. Just like the aura, like when you see all the videos and just they were superstars, you know? So Do you remember your first match? Your first ever official match?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes.
What happened there?
Well, Todd called me and said, "Hey, kid, I have good news and bad news." Okay. Good news, I know, you're gonna have a match coming up. Okay, cool. The bad news is it's in 2 days. I have no gear. I didn't know what to wear. I didn't have a wrestling name, nothing. So I go to one of those sex shops and get one and get a singlet that was not appropriate for a boys and girls club. And I found some biker boots, high tech boots. And then I went to the show, and back then the older vets would always bring extra gear just in case you needed it. So Tug, of course, did not approve my outfit. So he goes, "Hey, see what those guys have over there." So they found, I go, "Who's got size 13 boots?" Someone had size 13 boots. The problem was they were glitter silver. 100%, and I'm about 305 at the time. I can't find no pants that fit me. So this guy happened to have a pair of pants, MC Hammer pants,
Yeah.
that were pink. So pink, MC Hammer pants and silver glittery boots. So the announcer comes in, "Hey, what's your name?" I go, "Man, I don't care. Just Shawn. I don't care, because I'm embarrassed." Sure enough, I go out. It's the Galveston Boys and Girls Club there in Texas. I mean, outside of Houston. 200 kids screaming, "Zam!" Because I look like this from when Shaq was that genie in that movie. It didn't matter what I did, cause super, probably the most embarrassing 15 minutes of my life.
I mean, it could have been worse.
No, no,
Oh, no.
because local wrestling people don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So you have to, with that 10 to 15 minutes, you have to try to be a babyface or try to be a heel. They're just going off your look. You're jacked, and you have parachute pants that are pink and silver boot. You look like a genie.
So, oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Your first time in a crowd, and yeah. So in 2000, correct me if I'm wrong, 2000, 2001, you had dark matches for the
Yes,
WWF. What were some of who were some of your notable guys you went against for those dark matches?
I I had 3 that were televised: Crash Holly, Haku, and Joey Abs for the Mean Street Posse.
Haku,
Yes,
man, that how was he in the ring?
he's the man. So they it's for like heat or velocity, one of those things. And they go, "Hey, Shawn, you got a match to go against Haku." I go, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" And he goes, the guy said, "This so big." And Haku didn't want to have a short match, I guess, because he wanted TV time. So
Yeah,
it was an excruciating 5 or 6 minutes ass beating. But I got to leapfrog that Afro. That was awesome.
like with Haku, all the wrestlers, they talk about JBL, they talk about Taker, they talk about different ones, but when they mention Haku, they're like, you don't mess with him. You don't. He will hurt you.
He's a great dude, gentle giant, but you can, if you study people, you just look at those eyes and knows that at any given time, that switch can go off and it's over.
So, how did it feel to start doing dark matches? Like, how did that come about?
Well, I started being, I went from just Shawn to Hot Stuff Hernandez, and I was drawing 5 or 600 people in bingo halls and stuff like that because they never seen a 300-pound dude, jumping over the ropes and doing these stupid things. And of course, it caught eye of NWA at the time, and the promoter in Dallas had the connection from when WWE came in town. It came in Texas. He got the guys tryout matches.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different back then. Now you can see someone's Instagram, see someone's social media, and see how good a wrestler they are and stuff like that. Back then, you showed up and they put you in a lineup, and a
Yeah.
lineup like prison. And the guys that are doing dark matches pick who they want to work because they don't know who you are.
Oh, all right.
It's in their life. So imagine this: Crash Holly. His choices. You ready for this? Choices. You're Crash Holly, okay? Your
Yeah.
your choices are you get to wrestle me, who you don't know who I am, or Necro Butcher, because we both grew up in the same, we came up at the same time in Texas.
Yeah.
So obviously, if you're Crash Holly and you want to have a good match, you're gonna guess who you gonna guess you're gonna have a better match with me or Necro Butcher in front of a raw crowd.
Not Necro Butcher.
I love Necro. He's the man, but that was the craziest story. It's like a police lineup. And there was like 6 of us, and the other guys picked their match, and Crash, I guess, came late. So he got
Yeah.
he got his choices, me or Necro.
And we have the other host of the podcast.
What's going on, young
What's up,
man?
man? How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
So Shawn was just telling us about his time in the WWF doing dark matches with Haku, with Crash Holly, and Joey Abs from the Mean
Yes.
Street Posse.
Mean Street Posse.
So one thing I wanted to ask you as well, when you got done doing like your dark matches, like wrestling the WWF, why did that stop? Like, why didn't anything come about with you getting on the roster spot?
I didn't want to do that. I didn't pursue it.
No.
Rather, at the time, I wrestled in Japan, I wrestled in Mexico, something like this. If you've ever wrestled in different cultures, man, it's like the old thing, like we were talking about before. When you wrestle in Mexico, it's like a rock star. If they know who you are and they know the mask and stuff like that, awesome. So when I wanted what was best for me, just make money and be happy. Did I want to go to WBF? Of course, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket and only go there. Especially, I get to go to Japan, I get to go to England, I get to go to Puerto Rico, Mexico. It's pretty cool. So I'll tell you another funny story about WBERF. Around that time, I did the Joey Abs match.
Yeah.
I think about 6 months later, I get a call, and then this is on a landline where you have caller ID so you can see where it's coming from. And from Stamford, Connecticut. My shot. I got my shot. Yeah. Got my shot. Unfortunately, it was not my shot. It was Tom Prichard was on the other line and just reamed me a new behind because I didn't address, back then you had to put your VCR tapes, your highlight tapes in a package and send it to the office and with an 8x10 and all that. He just reamed me a new one because I had no idea that the previous guy that I was speaking with got fired and he took over as talent relations. So he just went off on me for about 5 or 6 minutes about how unprofessional it was. He didn't know who he was supposed to evaluate. I need to change my whole look. We already have one bald badass. You ever heard of Stone Cold Steve Austin? I mean, boom, boom, boom. I said, sir, this never come my house again. I just hung up.
Wow.
So that is true then, because
Yes.
there's a lot of people. I don't know if you see the videos. There's a lot of people that say like the reason being is because like there was already a Stone Cold Steve Austin. You were just more jacked.
Well, it's not that. Because, I'm bald at the time, but what I'm saying is, I guess that's the first time that someone very high up person just read me one. I'm not going to take, I'm like this. I'm not even an employee. I'm not going to take that and call someone else.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, so, what would you do if someone's just going to, read me one on a simple mistake and then all of a sudden they're going to keep going further on you, and you're not even employed, bro. Who's not hanging up?
Absolutely. I mean, you're a man, just coming to you and talk to you like a man. Need that kind of
I could see if I was an employee, cool. All right, I need to fix this. This is cool.
Yeah. No, there's always there's a ways of taking care of it, being an adult and treating you with respect, even though they gotta tell you what's going on or whatever's wrong. And that was definitely not the right way of doing that.
Well, right or wrong, he's obviously right because he had the job, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time after that that the doors were open again for you for WWE?
That experience soured me completely. There's always been people, hey, you're not on a contract right now, or in between like TNA and going to Lucha Underground, stuff like that, but never got more than that.
Okay. So when you went into LAX, what was the plan for LAX? Because, like, for me, at that time in the mid 2000s, like, you had the Guerreros, you had Ray with, being best friends with Eddie. I think at that time you had the Mexicools for the WWE,
Very
but
good.
LAX was like the epitome of being a Latino wrestler,
Yeah.
and like for me, being the co-host, being Panamanian, it was like a lot of our people don't get that spotlight. You guys got that spotlight and more. So like, what was the whole plan for LAX?
There was no plan. So, because now remember, there was Apollo, then Ricky Vega, then me. I was the last member of LAX. They didn't know what to do with us. So, if you remember when LAX first, when I was in LAX, they first started, we were hanging out in front of the Spanish announce table and just with signs, don't pass our little line and stuff like that. They didn't have no plan. And then finally, I'm 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 thinking, well, I think they're gonna fire us. I have to go back to wrestle in Mexico, all this. We don't know what to do. And then finally, they had one spot open on a pay-per-view. Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt didn't needed a match on a pay-per-view, but they're both babyfaces at the time, so they didn't want to put them against each other. So they were thinking about even giving a Homicide a singles match or a three-way, because they had no idea about me. They only wrestled, I only wrestled like 2 times for them before that. So they go, let's give the big guy a shot. A lot of people didn't want me to get the shot. And LAX is having a match versus Ron Killings and Sanjay Dutt. I realized if this match sucks, we're fired. At least I'm fired. I know that. And that match was really, really good for us. We got a lot of crowd response and great feedback in the back. From that match, 2 months later, we're the tag champs.
Yeah.
Just from that match. It was
I
super
think that's
cool.
the buzz you need.
Your gear, you guys, like, it wasn't wrestling gear. Like, it was just regular street clothes. Why the cargo shorts and the tank top and stuff like that? Like,
Bro,
what was?
you've been in the Cholo lands of California.
Yeah,
Big Jack Mexicans wearing the tank top being swole. And the khakis is a shout out to the respect for
going down for the roots. Then
100%.
is that also like the border toss, man? That is by far one of my favorite finishes of all time, the border toss, because like the way you do it, you just chuck them, bro. You just throw them.
Well, that name came from Mike Tenay. Mike Tenay christened that name Border Toss. As I don't want to out people or say it was funny. It made me sound racist, but funny because they call it the Border Toss because he was saying that's how I got my family across across the river.
It's stuck though, man. Like
Most definitely.
with and then homicide, it had the cop killer.
Yes.
And that was brutal. That
I
was
don't know
brutal.
how he got cop killer on TV. Just the name, but he got it.
So what was it like working with Konnan?
Well, Konnan was different, because he came from a different era where he was legendary in Mexico.
Yeah, it was between him and Vampiro, like both rock stars.
Then he did WCW, and then he started doing TNA. Man, with someone that much experience, do what you do best. Just shut the hell up, let him talk, and work around that, and hope that your work matches his mic work.
Yeah, I think he's very underrated when it comes to mic work. Like, and it just that the whole group with you guys, it felt like on TV, like watching on TV and stuff like that. It looked natural. Like,
We had 3 different personalities, and we rarely hung out together.
really?
At the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
It's just great chemistry. I mean, Homicide's the most underrated wrestler that I could think of because he can quarterback the match for everyone to make sure everyone in that match looks great and and not being selfish about it. So I mean, and look at the guys all the guys he's either mentored or coached from the ground up. Those guys are awesome. I mean, maybe like low key is awesome. And, maybe the non-wrestling part you don't like about Low Ki, but Low Ki in the ring is the man, and he's helped all those guys in the East Coast be on Ring of Honor, be on TNA, and be on WWE and AEW.
So before I ask you about the rivalry with Team 3 there,
Mhm.
your guys' theme song, did you have a say in that, by the way?
Absolutely not. Myself, but that was all all Konnan.
The theme song?
The LAX theme song, yes.
Yeah. Man, I bumped that in my car still. Like, when you heard of that, like, were you like, "This is gonna make it"?
When they played that and we came out with a separate entrance, that whole place was in a hush. It was awesome. Like, they didn't know what was going on, especially the first time we were through doing it. They had no clue what's happening. People, and then when we're in the Universal, so all these little kids are trying to shake your hand as you go to the ring and stuff because we're going through the crowd.
Yeah.
We had strict orders: do not give no high fives to no one that's not of color. So imagine you a little white 10-year-old kid. Hey, 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 and we just look at you, keep walking.
Man,
And so,
you're already creating heat like that.
oh yeah, it
Us
was like,
straight heat.
oh,
So, the feud with Team 3D, that was by far one of the greatest feuds in tag team history with TNA. How did that start?
well, we caught fire, and then we were the tag champs. Had an excellent match with AJ and Christopher Daniels. So you go through the whole list, right? American Most Wanted. Sooner or later, you're gonna butt heads with 3D. You have the Kings of Tag, right? So it happened, and everyone was waiting for this moment because we looked rough. And first time being on TV, I'm feeling like I'm fighting for my job every time. Maybe I was hitting people a little bit too hard, not on purpose, but And 3D, the people, everyone in the back couldn't wait till 3D because they were going to teach me a lesson on how not to hit people hard.
I wanna ask, okay, so you had 3 matches with them, 3 back to back to back. You had the Little Italy street fight, then you had the Ghetto Brawl, and then the Electrified cage match. So, the Little Italy street fight, that was a phenomenal match. The Ghetto Brawl was good, but the electric cage match, tell me, whose idea was that, first of all?
Obviously wasn't mine. The cool thing is we did those in the past, like in Mexico, we did those in the past.
Yeah.
The portable car chargers on off sides of the ring. Problem is they didn't give us logistics on how to make this work where no one can get hurt in the state of Missouri. So they decided to add that sound over the speakers in the building. That wasn't none of our ideas. No one's idea. And the first time when, everyone, it was like a little hush with the crowd, but they're like, is that real? It's not real. It's not real about the cage. And then when Homicide hit that cage and it didn't do nothing and he started selling like he did something, man, that crowd just turned on us. And it was so brutal because we still had to wrestle another 15 minutes. And the crowd is like this crapping all over the match, Fire Russo, everything, man. It was brutal.
Is that one of the matches that you would like to forget in your career with TNA?
I don't even remember you saying it right now. Everyone always asks that question. That's rough.
It is, that is, especially during that time, because TNA was, in my opinion, like revolutionary with the six-sided ring. You didn't see that, in America. You didn't see that in America. And then you had the X division. Like, it was going really well,
Yes.
especially all the talent, and then the Electrified cage match.
But we got through that. It was okay.
So, what were some of the best matches that you can remember as far as tag team wise?
As long as I had Homicide next to me, they were all good because I enjoyed working with everyone and I enjoyed finding the chemistry because sometimes you got to wrestle 3D who was more on storytelling and physicality. Then the next week you got to wrestle machine guns and keep up with that fast speed.
Now, the Mexican American.
Okay.
So before that, you teamed with Matt Morgan. What when you and Homicide parted, what was going through the process with your career at that time?
I didn't want it to happen. I'm living life great. I'm in LAX doing awesome tag matches, getting great crowd responses as a heel or face. I'm good. I'm happy to be on the team. Then they go, hey, Shawn, let's put you in the singles. Like, okay, where's Homicide? Well, we're going to do something different with Homicide. And I go, that's when they made me change the clothes and wear the trunk
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Imagine for myself, I'm a team player. Whatever you want me to do is cool. But I thought that was a big downgrade because here we are.
You're hot. You're hot. You're up at the peak.
Up in the middle, almost, like the semis, and sometimes with certain matches, we could be in the main. Why would you want to take that away and strip that all away and take the whole Bible away, put me in trunks, put me with a guitar riff for a theme song? It was just very discouraging.
Was there any sign of like, hey, this might not work, get you guys back together?
That was never the plan. Bischoff and Hogan, those guys came. They didn't want nothing to do with that.
Totally flipped the script on you guys.
Well, it's, and whoever's in charge,
Yep.
I'm a team player, and those checks were clearing, so cool. You want me to wear trunks? Okay, cool. You want me to wear a dress? Cool. I still get that check. I'm good.
See that's something that I found odd is that when your action figures came out, they were in trunks. You didn't have any in the actual street gear. There was a couple that was unreleased prototypes of that, but they never came to actual retail. And that's how both myself and, Noah as was when you had the street clothes.
No, I had one with the like, gray or silver shorts, and one with like the colors of the Mexican flag.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. They're the only two that I can remember.
Yes, sir. That's all. Those who I had.
Yeah.
So, what was the story on May 2014?
Okay, no, my contract ran out, and they just wanted me to negotiate a pay cut, and it never happened. So it just quietly took me off the roster.
Sounds similar to what AJ said about when he was leaving because of the pay cut.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
that was like
during
that was
that
a
time,
serious
yeah,
thing.
everyone was, they were. I don't, I don't talk about finances. They're not mine because I wasn't there. But if everyone's taking, you gotta realize, '06 we break even, '07 we're making profits, '08, '09, and they bought all the WB guys that were let go. The RVDs, the Booker T's, Kevin
Yeah.
Nash, all those guys, Hogan, Bischoff, those guys like that. And now profits are going down. And since those guys have guaranteed money, we're becoming the whipping boys. You're taking the pay cuts.
So there really wasn't loyalty to the main guys that were there.
Well, if I'm not one of the main guys, but I mean, we have AJ AJ who pretty much helped build the company from day one, and you're asking him to take any pay cut, even if it's 10%. I don't know the percentages, but if you're asking him to take any pay cut, then that's balls of steel.
Yeah.
He was the ultimate. That guy was the ultimate team player. Because I mean, remember they had him in a robe with Ric Flair, trying to be Ric Flair protege, and well, this is one of the best wrestlers in the world, and you don't think his gimmick is good enough.
Yeah. That's a shame. That's a shame. So Lucha Underground, man, how did that come about with you getting into them?
I think maybe a month or two after that we had no resign for the TNA. They reached out to me, and I signed probably like 2 months later. And then I didn't start until like December, but I was supposed to be the original Matanza, and but it was really awkward. So I was supposed to be the original Matanza. Okay, cool. So I'm waiting. You don't get paid till you don't get paid till you wrestle. And so I'm waiting. No tapings. All the tapings would come up, and I wasn't getting picked up. I'm like, what's going on? Oh well, we decided to name Matanza towards the end of the season. I go, so what does that mean for me? That means I'm not getting paid to the end of the season. Man, luckily they signed Del Rio, and so they wanted another heel. I'll do it. I'll do it. And that's how I got on quicker, because I was supposed to be Matanza at the end, and then all of a sudden you see me like in the middle of the season, I'm Hernandez, because they need an extra heel.
What was the vibe like in Lucha Underground? Because man, when that first came out, me and my dad, like that's all we would watch because it wasn't your typical pro
Wrestling.
wrestling promotion. It reminded me of like Mexican TV. It's just there was storylines like real life storylines
Mhm.
in it, and then you got the matches, and
Yep.
the matches
Great
were
production.
insane.
Yeah. Man, it was awesome because they pick you up and they treat you like a TV star. Hey, how many days are you booked for here? 4, sir. They give you your per diem every day in your hand, right there, right off the airport.
Wow.
Then they put you in this nice hotel. Man, I'm not a super rich dude, so when you put me in a nice hotel and the mini fridges they have, and it's not my credit card getting, paid for that, and they gotta refill it every day. And then, they'll feed you like a TV show, They feed you for breakfast. They have craft all the time. Your wrestling clothes, you wrestle, you hand it back to the lady, they wash and dry clean it for you for the next day. Why would I wanna go anywhere else?
And at that time too, I mean, there was a lot of big names there with like Vampiro and then Rey Mysterio. Like that was a swerve with Ray coming in. But it I was very happy that it was there for that time. And I was very upset, very sad when that went away, but now we're hearing talks again that it's going to start showing up again.
Yeah, there's some teasers out there.
We'll see. We'll see. Because all the bigger players from that, like, how are you going to get Ricochet to be Prince Puma again? You know,
Yeah.
some of the stuff.
There was a lot there that came from that show. You know, you had Penta, you had Reclusa. You know,
They have too many
there's
people and
yeah,
too many moving parts unless they have to rebrand the whole thing.
Could we see a Hernandez?
Absolutely not.
So
I
I
love
want to talk to you.
my time in Lucha Underground, but there was some managerial
Stuff.
that I don't want to deal with.
So I wanted to talk to you real quick before we get into your wrestling school. You had 3 returns to TNA. Why the back and forth? Is it just because, like, when they needed you, or
Well, but I guess that's how you can say it, yeah, because the one we did the LAX versus old LAX, I was chilling, man. I'm wrestling AAA, having a good time, doing 6-mans instead of, with singles matches. Why would I want to come back?
yeah?
You know what I'm saying? I'm on TV there. Why would I want to come back? So they called me, hey, we need you to do this angle, man. Come on. Why? Why? You know, Homicide has always helped me in wrestling, putting those great matches together. If he calls you, hey man, come do this. That's why I had that angle.
So, what was your opinion on the new LAX?
I have a lot of bad opinions about that, but good and bad. Those kids are awesome. Santino Ortiz are awesome. But if you think of LAX, they're not even the top 10 people you think about. I'm just being honest. Santino and Ortiz are awesome wrestlers, super awesome. Especially for this day and age, they fit perfect. But if you're watching wrestling and you hear those gunshots, are you expecting those kids?
No, man. Homicide Hernandez.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just people don't realize LAX was only together, me and Homicide together on television from '06 to '09. And that
Yeah.
shows how much of a permanent legacy we put on the name and the brand, this because we were allowed to be partners for 3 years. And to make it worse, Konnan was only the manager of us for the first year.
Yeah.
So,
But when you think of LAX, you think of you
yes,
guys and Konnan.
yep. So
So
it's a little bit different when, like when I first heard it, the other version with the gunshots and you hear the helicopters, I wasn't pleased, but that's okay. That's different. But you gotta look at yourself. What if you were me?
yeah.
What if you were me and all of a sudden they're touring a different version of a legacy that you've made or where you helped make? And all of a sudden here comes like the great value version. I'm not being ugly, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
How would you feel?
No, I honestly, I would feel better because, especially just them telling me, yeah, we're gonna put you in a singles run after
Yes.
you guys were on the high spot like that. For me, you said it perfectly, man. You said it perfectly. The legacy. You guys weren't together for 10 years, 15 years. You were together for 3. But when I think of TNA tag teams, one of the best, I think of LAX, the original OG LAX. The guys' style, the match you guys had, and just the ruthlessness, it's like, that's what I think of.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of Hispanic fans that come up to me still. Man, you're a big part of my childhood. And it makes you feel old, but I mean, so that LAX in those 3 years had that much impact on fans is super cool.
Yeah. Especially, for me and my dad, being Hispanic, man, at that, like I said, at that time, I love Super Crazy and Psychosis, but the Mexicals, man, on the lawnmowers,
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
more of a gimmick, more of a comedy gimmick thing.
Well,
for
like I said,
me,
I'm from an older generation to where there was never, ever on TV an Hispanic badass. There was
yeah,
No, there
always
wasn't.
there was always the pimp, the gardener, or the comedy relief guy. It
Mhm.
was never someone cool. It was always, you know, a joke.
yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly.
And you're letting 3 guys be the badasses that every Hispanic wants to finally see on television was super. I mean, I can't even come to words. I mean, super invigorating to imagine when if you're, if any Latino descent, you had to watch lucha or hope that Mil Mascaras is wrestling in America to
Yeah.
see a badass, a Mexican badass or Hispanic badass, whatever you want to call us. You never, when Konnan came to WCW, all right, all right, and for TNA allowing us to do that, it was super, super cool.
You guys at that time was the Danny Trejo of professional wrestling.
Let me help you. My dad was a Green Beret for 30 years, and he worked for the Houston Police Department, training self-defense, and then later on doing human relations. When we did that angle where we threatened to burn the American flag, he told me right there he's never watching me on TV ever again. And,
Man,
I mean, my own dad. So it shows you that how between Conan and the writers, how well they were pushing the right buttons to create.
Yeah.
so now I want to talk to you about your wrestling school. How did that come about with you starting your own school?
Easy. I like to wrestle, and sometimes I like to wrestle too much. And when you want to wrestle too much, you start making concessions. So, hey, I want to help this company grow. So let me take a discount so we can put other money elsewhere to bring more names in. And I was everyone's friend then. Everyone loved me when I was doing that. Then when I finally, hey, I'm an old man now. I can't be taking all these discounts. And I started my own school. Now everyone's mad. But guess what? On Facebook, brother, we have over 21,000 followers. We've only been a
Yeah.
school since June of 24. So we have right now about 25 kids, and then we have about 6 or 7 kids in our next gen classes, which is like 8 to 15-year-old kids. They do the same things we do, except they don't take the bumps because obviously, but
Yeah.
they learn the timing and they do the bumps to us. And hopefully we're trying to transition them to in the adult classes after that. And we deal mostly with low-income Hispanics, kids on the spectrum, and military kids because every 2-3 years, kids from the military have to move to different bases. San Antonio's military USA, and there's every branch of military here. So that's who we cater to. Man, it's very, very different, but very, very fun and very fulfilling.
I see a couple of the clips on Instagram. The kids wearing, the lucha masks. Is that like a big part of the school? Representing that lucha heritage.
Now that kid is just off the chain. He's awesome. He looks white, but he's Hispanic as hell.
Trust me, I get that. I get that.
Well, of course, my son is the same way. Man, he don't look like Hernandez, put it that way. So when when Mr. Enzo puts his little mask on and he changes his little voice, and I mean, everyone goes nuts. It's hilarious. The kid has so much charisma.
So when you are at the school, can you see, like, do you get the sense of like, all right, this kid's gonna, be like, is it very clear to you, being how you've been in the business for so long? Like, this kid's got it. This kid just needs a little more work. When you're training, do you look at it as you're trying to build them for the top promotion, or just trying to get the bases down first?
Ooh, I'm trying to get the most I can out of these kids to get them as far as they can. We have about we have one kid that's beyond ready. He's awesome. He's ready for, I think, in my opinion, he's ready for a trial. The problem is, next week. Next week he turns 16. He's been wrestling with me for 4 years.
Wow.
He's
Oh,
like he's like a regional parkour champion, but
yeah,
he's 5'6". But he can do everything. And he's taken every one of my moves. Every one of them he's taken and not cried about one bit. We have so many great athletes. We have two, DG Battle and CC Carter. These guys are good looking black dudes, about 6'2", about 190 apiece, really chiseled, and can do every move and any move you can think of without even trying. So I mean, I'm really lucky and blessed to see these kids grow from barely learn how to tie up to calling their own matches.
yeah. Do you get some of the kids like in there? Are they like a little starstruck by you? Like, oh my god, I watched you or anything like that?
That last is probably about the first mess up they do in the ring. When I'm letting them know what they did wrong and how I'm letting them know that is obviously starstruckness goes away real quick because I don't get mad at all until you start picking each other up. Basic body slams and suplex. If you can't get your footing and you can't get your time and mechanics down, 85 salaries is not going to bring that guy's neck back because you dropped him on his neck. So after all the stupid things you see me do in that ring, I'm probably the worst or the least guy who should be preaching safety. But man, I want everyone to come and leave the same way they came.
Yeah. Once you feel like the kids are ready to, move up, how does that come about with them getting into different promotions or tryouts? Like, do you take care of that?
If I can, yes, of course. But I mean, everyone's independent if they want to. But like when TNA comes in town, you know, have them fill out all the paperwork, and now you gotta have blood work because they're with TKO or something. And I just let them know, hey, you have to have updated blood work and name drop all you want to, but just try to get in the door.
Yeah. I mean, it's how do I say this? It's nice to see a lot of the wrestlers from your era help out the kids that aspire to be someone in the business now.
Well, I try to preach this because when I was their age, I didn't have that. I try to preach being more humble, have some humility, and that was going to help you get farther along in life, not only in wrestling, but in the rest of your life as well. Because when I was their age and I'm 300 pounds squatting, 800 benching 5, you couldn't stop me unless you had a bazooka. So there's obviously no humility there.
Yeah.
And so I look back at my life experiences, especially in wrestling. Maybe if I were to shut my mouth here, maybe if I would have been more humble and listened to what this coach told me, I could have moved along farther than I was.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that comes with age. You know, I'm sure everyone, you guys when you're in your 20s, you weren't as humble as you are now.
He's still not humble.
Trust me, as you age and you look back on your life, like I'm seeing these kids as they grow as performers. I go, man, I would have just shut up here. If I would have just listened to the coach a little bit harder here, no, well, tell me what could happen. And I'm talking about from from weightlifting to football to wrestling. You know, I guess the light bulb clicks when you get that certain age. You know,
Yeah, you get experience on it,
yes.
and that's it.
And you get those flashbacks. Hey, man, because I'm seeing these kids minimum 4 or 5 days a week when we're training, and I'm seeing them making all these mental and life mistakes that I made, or they're about to make them, and I'm trying to coach them out of it.
So you're really trying to essentially like outdo your wrongs with them.
Absolutely.
You know, you pass on the knowledge that you gain so that the other generations will make the same mistakes you make, so that they can
You can.
proceed further.
You
It's
at
like I
least
tell you all the time.
you at least have to try.
Yeah. And you know, if you give them that kind of knowledge, it's up to them whether or not they decide to use that or just say, you know what, I'll learn my own way. This is, you know, I do the same thing with Nick, and he decides to learn his own way because he wants to have that kind of experience that I went through already.
I don't wish none of my past experience on any. Oh, I mean, maybe maybe I'm just over trying to help sometimes, man. Because
Yeah.
man, if I would listen to my parents a lot more, I think I would have been a lot farther off in life. At least a lot happier with less drama and trauma.
The trauma is the big thing.
So
Do you see a little Hernandez or a little Homicide with some of the kids?
absolutely not.
No.
There's no homicides. You know, he's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? As far as what you see, he's the real deal. I mean, he's you know, because he's not one of the biggest guys in wrestling, but when he wrestles, he makes you believe that he can hang with any 250-pound guy.
Yeah.
You know, usually when you see a smaller guy wrestle a bigger guy, you're expecting, you know, semi-squash or that guy's going to be having to fly around. Homicide makes you suspend disbelief that he can hang with some 250, 300-pound dude just on his ability to sell and the way he's not scared to strike you back.
We saw my dad and I saw him at GCW
GCW, yeah, there
2
was a
years ago.
retirement.
Yeah, against with Gringo Loco.
Yep. And super
Man,
crazy.
he's a brawler, dude. He's a brawler.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Real deal, man. That's the real deal.
Yeah, because that's when he got inducted into the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yeah, at the Hammerstein Ballroom
Yeah,
in Manhattan.
it was great to see that match.
Yes.
But how do people like find out about your school? Like the days it's on, the hours and stuff like that. How do they get in contact?
Man, just go to any of our social media pages. Like I said, on Facebook, we have over 21,000 followers. They go on San Antonio Style Wrestling. Instagram is 210 Style Wrestling. I don't know the other ones, but that's those. But you know,
Yeah, you have a TikTok there, San Antonio Style Wrestling.
yeah, I don't have TikTok, so the school does.
Oh, part of the school then, okay.
Yes, sir.
So they get in contact and then set up, and right then and there is done.
Man, you show up, sign those waiver forms, you know, whatever the price is agreed upon with the owner, and let's get to work.
All right. Well, John,
We have monthly, weekly, and even daily drop-in fees, so we cater to them all.
well, Sean, man, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you so very much.
Awesome, man.
Check out San Antonio Style Wrestling.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you.
Have a good day.